Hello, Dallas Baptist community. Today is the 16th of September. We didn't have church today because of Hurricane Florence and the rain and the weather. Yesterday was National Batman Day. And as you can see, I'm a Batman fan. Recently in the comic books, Batman was revealed to be an atheist. And part of this was because of unresolved grief and trauma from his parents' horrific death. And, if you're familiar with the comic book stories or any of the movies or Batman, his parents were shot in front of him in an alley as he was a child, and part of his whole putting on the cape and the mask was because of this unresolved grief. But we find recently in the comic books that it led to his religious convictions as well. Part of it did, at least. Judah and Jerusalem in the 500s BC experienced a great bit of trauma and grief with the sacks by the Babylonians of Jerusalem and the subsequent destruction of Jerusalem. Lamentations was written possibly to process some of this in the aftermath. Since it's a rainy, dreary day outside with a hurricane, I decided, hey, I'll read a book about grief. So I started reading a book today called A Liturgy of Grief, a Pastoral Commentary on Lamentations. It's written by Leslie Allen, and my words are going to be from his introduction. He talks about tears, talk, and time. He gives a story of talking to a young man who had just come into a psych ward after losing his parents, his girlfriend ODing. He broke down. But this minister tells the individual, says, tears, talk, and time. What he means by tears is, whenever we grieve, whether it be a death or whether it be change of job, whatever, we need to cry. It's an outlet for our pent-up emotions. It's good to cry, even though in our culture sometimes we tell boys not to cry, tell men not to cry. It's good to cry. It's good to let it out. There's an old Yiddish proverb that calls tears the soap of the soul. You see, it's good to release the emotion as opposed to bottling it up. It can make you actually physically sick if you bottle things up. After tears, Alan talks about talk. The purpose of talking is to, this is a quote here, articulate grief, to face up to haunting memories with a defining clarity of speech, and to talk through emotions and reduce them to words that still hurt, but at a lower level in the pain scale. In other words, talking gets the pain, the poison out of our system. It helps us verbalize things that are going on in our life. It helps us talk through things. And it's also good to share stories, to share memories, to talk through those. And a lot of families, a lot of individuals, when they're dealing with the loss of a family member, that type of grief, they like to talk through things, share those memories of said loved one who's gone on to be on the other side. It's good. It's good. So tears, talk, and the third thing that Alan talks about is time. Tears and talk are more direct, but time works indirectly. Time creates a room, space for the processing of grief. In that processing, you're able to develop hope. Counselors talk about renegotiating relationships, especially with lost loved ones. Time gives you that ability to see what life's going to be like after them. You haven't cut off relations with that loved one or that life event, but it's something different now. And one of the points that Alan makes is Lamentations is best understood as a, quote, script of a liturgy intended as a therapeutic ritual. We all need to cry. We all need to talk. We all need time. Lamentations for members of the community of Jerusalem, this was their tears, talk, and time. If you're dealing with grief, whether it be a loss of a job, a loss of a family member, any type of life change, you grieve. Well, if you're facing this grief, you're not the only one. Ancient Israel went through it. Jesus cried at the loss of his friend Lazarus, cried over Jerusalem. It's good to grieve. Do it in a healthy way. Tears, talk, and time.